All right. Mic check 1, mic check 2. If you are watching this live stream back on the replay, take advantage of the chapters and skip ahead to the start of the show. I'm still setting up and giving people some time to tune in. Guys, it's been one of those days. I had a great weekend starting Friday when I went out with my brother and we had dinner and caught up. That was awesome. But boy, oh boy, this weekend has just been a roller coaster of events. Internet went out on me while I was over my mom's house, taking care of the yard over there, taking care of my mom. So I ended up having to leave over there early because I couldn't get ready for the show over there since the internet was out. But anyway, it's just every day, I'm telling you guys, it's always something. So that's why I'm a little bit later than I usually am. We're getting here 5 minutes before we actually start the show. So it's actually 9 o'clock right now, of course, you can tell time. But I need to share the stream on Facebook and launch this Social Stream Ninja, and then we can go ahead and get started. So let me go ahead and launch the Social Stream Ninja. Okay, and then that's launched. Okay. Close this. Let's do a test to see if I can hear it. Yes, I can hear it. So we're good there. Let's go ahead and get this stream shared. So search Facebook. Okay. Okay, there we go there. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Let me share this stream. Got a new follower over there. That's awesome. That's been a minute since we got a new follower over on Facebook. So I appreciate you, whoever you are. All right, let's share this stream. We are live. We are live. Yeah. All right. Cool. And guys, we're not going to do the... I'm not telling you not to send nothing, but I'm telling you, we're not doing a sponsorship tonight because I don't have my phone with me. I end up leaving that phone over at my mom's house. So I don't know nothing about no cash apps or no PayPals while we're doing the live stream tonight. I don't have that phone with me. I'm telling you, ooh, pray for me. That's basically it. Just pray for me. Hope that we can get this thing together, but we got a good show though. We do have a good show. I got all that ready to go. We're going to have a good show. All right. I believe that's everything. We got the mic where it need to be. All right. Let's go ahead and start this show 2 minutes late. But we got it. We got it. Let me see. All right. My lips dry, guys. Let me get something on my lips. My lips dry. All right. Okay. I'm ready. We can go. Check this one more time. All right. Welcome to Weekly Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God. Oh, thank God, guys. It is Sunday. It is Sunday. And tonight, we're going to take a look at Super Microcomputer Incorporated, ticker SMCI, and Tapestry Incorporated, ticker TPR, which were our biggest gainers and losers in the S&P 500 from our market recap lives this week. We're going to review their sectors, industries, sub-industries, and the performance of their peers to look for opportunities in the market. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, FB for Facebook, and an X for X. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Market recap live, biggest gainer. All right. So we need to go ahead and pull up the charts. Pull up the charts. Biggest gainer. drawing a blank. Yes, this is what we need. Okay, so here we go. Take that down, pull up the charts, take light down, and here's our biggest gainer. Now, for this weekly recap live, guys, I actually have the tickers and tags ready to go. So if somebody pops in the middle of the stream, we will already have it ready. All right, so we do have SMCI pulled up on the charts. Right now, we are looking at a 1-year daily chart for SMCI. They have a 52-week high of $58.78 and a 52-week low of $19.48. And they closed this week at $39.84. Now, I did this out of order. I was supposed to tell you something first, but I can tell you now. Slow down. Super Micro Computer Incorporated, ticker SMCI, were our biggest gainer on Wednesday, August 12th, finishing that day up 19.02%. I have a link for that video down in the description if you want to watch our analysis. Then I was supposed to show you what I showed you on the charts, but you got both. Just didn't get it in that order. All right, now let's pull up our notes. Let's pull up our notes. That is not what I need. Give me a second. So we take off the last drawing I just did that you can't see. Pull up our notes. Bam. So that's our notes. Let me bring this over. Notes. There we go. All right, so right up here, Sunday SMCI day gainer. So 1 day percentage change. So I told you that 1 day, they finished that day up 19.02%. So what we want to do, we want to find out this other information for our notes. Okay, so let me expand this over because this is acting funny. Is that enough space? Yeah, that covers the sector, industry, and all of that. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to pull them up in a watch list. And I don't know how I have all of this set up right now. So I am going to go over to set this up so I won't spoil this for you guys. Take this down, look for the right watch list, ETF, GNL. There we go. All right, so here are the companies that we're going to cover tonight. Let me just delete what we got in here, and let's start over from scratch. Got you. All right, so let me pull you over. Here we go. Pull up the disclaimer for the Thinkorswim. So SMCI, bam. And we're going to change this to the money tracker columns. So that way we can get the percentage change for the week, all of that stuff. So we can pull our notes back up. So our notes is going to be, let's look, 1, 2, it's going to be 2. All right. The 1 week change, guys, they finished the week up 27.98%. SMCI did, and they are in. So we can take our notes down and we're going to go over to analyze after we select that row, which we did. So we're going to analyze. There's SMCI. So SMCI is in the information technology sector. So let's pull back up our notes and let's start updating that. So information technology. Now we need to find out what industry they're in and what sub industry they are in to complete our notes. So let's go up here to the market watch tab, go to the visualize sub tab. And let's back all the way back out to S&P 500. So we have the heat map pulled up for the S&P 500. Here is the information technology sector in the S&P 500, and we're looking for SMCI. SMCI. I wish we see them so much. Depending on the size of their market cap, they might be hard to see. So there's another way to do this. If we just change this watch list to the GNL that we're using, SMCI be the only one in there. So that's what I did. So now we just click on that. That's information technology. So they are in the technology. They are in the technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals industry, and the sub industry is the same. So let's update our notes. So we go here. And that is technology, TEC, technology, hardware. And then over here is the same thing. And now that I know where that is, we can pull it up over in the S&P 500 watch list. So we go back over there, take me back off the screen, information technology, and then we go to technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals. There's SMCI, guys. It's a small market cap, so it's down there in the corner. You can barely see it. It's this right here. I had to expand it for you to be able to see it. That's why we couldn't see it. And like I said, the sub industry is the same. So we have information technology is the sector, industry is technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals, and technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals is also the sub industry. All right, so we have that. Let's see what else I got here for you. Link to that video down in the description. We talked about that. We showed the chart. We updated our notes. Watch list 1 week. We updated that with the sub industry. All right, so now we can talk about this, guys. So let's go ahead and look at our market recap live biggest loser. All right. So the biggest loser that we had in the market for this week on our weekly recap live was, how do I want to do this? Do I want to do this on the chart? Let me just bring it over. It was Tapestry, guys. So let me just put that in TPR. We put that in the symbol box. TPR. Bam. Take that down. There we go. So it was Tapestry. So let me pull up the charts. Tapestry. Yeah, we'll pull the charts up while I talk about it. Okay, so Tapestry Incorporated, ticker TPR, were our biggest loser on Thursday, August 13th, finishing that day down 16.49%. I have a link for that video down in the description if you want to watch our analysis, okay? So this time we're going to do it in order. We're going to do it in the right order. So let me show you what chart we're looking at. So we have TPR pulled up in our symbol box. We're looking at the 1 year daily chart. They had a 52-week low, or have a 52-week low of $93 and a 52-week high of $164.80. And they closed this week at $128.98. So that's what we have on the charts for Tapestry. And now let's pull up our notes and start updating our notes. So bam. We already have the ticker put in, the 1 day percentage change. I told you what that is. It was down. They were down. So let's update that. They were down 16.49% in a day. And that was on Thursday. So we have that. Now we're going to update our watch list and find out what their percentage change was for the week. All right. So let's take off all these drawings. Go up here to Market Watch, go to the quotes sub tab, and now we're going to put in Tapestry, TPR, and now we'll get that other data. So the 1 week change, guys, they're down 20.56% on the week. So let's update our notes. So they're down 20.56% on the week. And what industry are they in, and sub industry and all the other good stuff, so we can get that in our notes. Let's go ahead and get to that. So we selected them, go to the Analyze tab. Guys, they're in the consumer discretionary sector. So let's start there with our notes. Consumer discretionary sector. And I know you didn't see there's some type of bug and got in the house, letting the dog in and out the house, or coming in. You're like, ooh, it's cool in there. The door open, and just come in the house. And guys, it's just terrible. I feel crazy with these bugs flying around my head. But once they get in the house, I got to wait for them to die or kill them when I get time. I can't catch them. They terrible once they get in here. All right, so we got that in the notes. Now let's go ahead and go over to Market Watch tab. Then we go to the Visualize sub tab. We go back all the way out to the S&P 500 watch list. We're looking for consumer discretionary. It's right here, guys. So we're looking for ticker TPR. And again, if their market, I see where they are, but if their market cap is small, it's going to take up smaller space in this heat map. But I see where they are. So let me take me off the screen. They're right down here, guys. TPR. So they are inside of, it looks like, textiles, apparel, and luxury industry. And then their sub industry is apparel, accessories, and luxury goods. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand this and go ahead and select the sub industry. And then I'll have everything I need over here. So let's pull up our notes. And we can start putting this information in there. And if I put me on the screen, I'm not sure if it's going to block it, but I'll leave me off for now. So right here under industry, this is where we're going to put in textiles, apparel, and luxury goods. And then this one is textiles. And we don't have it. No, it doesn't start off with textiles, guys. It starts off with apparel. So we go over here. Let's check to see if we have it. APP. Nope, we don't have it. So let me put me on the screen and show you how we do this. Down in my data. So we go to the data page, and then under sub industry, we're going to add what we need. So let's put insert, shift cells down, and then type that in. So it's apparel, APP, AREL, accessories, and luxury goods. Yes. All right. So now that we have it, when we go back to notes, we should be able to find it. Start off with apparel, APP. There we go, guys. So now we have that in our notes. So we can go back over here and see where I need to talk about next. All right. Have a link for the video down in the description. Yes, we did that. We updated our notes. We talked about the 1%. Yeah, we did all of that. All right. So now we can go here, guys. So let's talk about this. The S&P 500, take this down, go here. All right, the S&P 500 biggest gainer and loser of the week. So we just covered the companies that had the biggest percentage change in a day. All right, just a day. Now let's go to the S&P 500 watch list and see and check to see what companies had the largest percentage gain and loss in this week. All right, so let's go back to the charts. And there we go. We're not going to the chart per se. We're going to the watch list because we need to pull this up. So we go to the market watch tab, then we go to the quotes sub tab. My highlighter then came off. So we need to change this watch list to the S&P 500 watch list. You can't see that. All right. So now that we have that, we need to put it on the right column. So we're going to pull up the 1 week percentage change, and then all this will clear up because that was too much data it was pulling. But long story short, here we go. The company with the biggest percentage change for the week, guys, is Sandisk. They had the biggest gain this week. For this week, they finished the week up 35.38%. Okay, so that's Sandisk. So let's pull up our notes. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Since we have them selected, we'll update the notes in a minute, guys. Let's do this. Let's select Sandisk and then go over to the charts, and we'll do what we did before. And I know this is a mess. We got a lot of stuff going on over here, guys, but it's okay. We're going to break it down. So we have Sandisk pulled up on the chart. We have a 1 year daily chart pulled up for you. And here is the 52-week low of $43.20 and a 52-week high of $2,354.39. Put me back on the screen. And they closed this week at $1,641.11. All right. So we just peeked at that on one time frame, and then we can go ahead and update our notes. So right here, we're going to put in their ticker. So that's, and I do have it pulled up, SNDK. So we have that biggest gainer for the week. Now, I don't know what their biggest percentage change was for a day, and I still haven't found out a way to quickly find that. But we do have the biggest percentage. We do have the percentage change for the week. So let's go back to the watch list and get that. So we go back over to Market Watch, and it should be at the top of the screen right there. So it's 35.38. 1 week percentage change right there. So we're putting in 35.38. So that's the biggest percentage gain they had for this week. And now we can go look to see what sector they're in, industry, sub-industry, etc. So go to the Analyze tab. Guys, they're in the information technology sector. So let's pull our notes back up, start there. So information technology, bam, we got that. Now we're going to go to the Market Watch tab and then go to the Visualize sub tab, back this all the way back out to the S&P 500 heat map. Take me off the screen. And they are in the information technology sector. And we're looking for Sandisk, SNDK, right here, guys. So they're in the technology, hardware, storage, and peripherals industry. And that is also the same as the sub industry, okay? So that's what we have there. Let's go ahead and pull our notes back up and update that. So that was technology, hardware, and peripherals, technology, hardware. Bam, that was easy because this was actually in there like it was supposed to be. So that wasn't hard to do at all, was it? Not at all. All right, now we need to find what company had the biggest percentage loss this week. Let me see what I got here. We pulled up the watch list. We did that. We updated our notes. Okay, but we didn't do the loser yet. So I didn't put that in there. Okay, so let's look at the company that had the biggest percentage loss this week. So we're going to go back to the Market Watch tab, quote sub tab. We're going to change this order from descending to ascending. And guys, the biggest loser for this week, percentage change in a week to the downside, is Tapestry. So they had the biggest percentage loss in a day, and they had the biggest percentage loss this week. So updating the notes for this company is going to be easy because we already did it. We just didn't do it for the week. So we're going to go ahead and put that in here. So TPR, and we already looked at them on the charts. So that makes it easier too. This number is going to be different. It's not going to be different because we already have both of them there. So we just put it here, negative 20.56%. Bam, consumer, discretionary, textiles, apparel, textiles, and then apparel. Good, we're good. So now we have all our notes updated for the biggest percentage gainers, losers in a day, and the losers and gainers in this week. All right, so let's move on and talk about the market research, guys. Market research, take that down, go here. All right, market research. Now we're about to use the fear and greed index and the VIX to potentially find clues in the data about why these sectors, industries, sub-industries, and businesses performed the way they did. All right. Yes. Market sentiment. Let's start here. First, let's check the mood of the market. We're going to see how the market feeling and use the fear and greed index brought to us by CNN. So let me go ahead and pull that up. And guys, there's a link to the fear and greed index down in the description, just in case you don't know where to find it. I have a link for it down in the description. All right, here we go. And take me off the screen because if I don't, you won't be able to see it. So this is where the fear and greed index finished on Friday. Friday, it finished at 65. The market is in greed right now. The market is greedy. And guys, it's been increasing all, I want to say the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we're going to look at that in a second. And I want to show you the timeline. So if you go to timeline right here, if you click right there, you can break this down to give you the data for each date, each day of the week. So that's the 14, 13, 12, 11. It's real sensitive, but it's there. And you can go and see what the gauge was. And we're going to show you that all in my notes and all that other good stuff. So let me pull me back on the screen, pull up our notes, and then we can talk about what I have in my notes. We'll just leave this in the background. Okay, so let's pull this up. So in my notes, guys, I've been keeping track of the fear and greed index and the VIX throughout the week. So right here, we have the legend. So you can see what those numbers mean. Between 56 and 75 is going to be greed. And that's where we are for Friday. So you can see those dates right here. And I'm going to highlight this so you can see it. So that's this week that just passed, Monday through Friday. I'm going to highlight that yellow. And now I'm going to show you something over here on my spreadsheet. Right over here where we have the start date and end date is going to give us the average of the fear and greed index for the time frame that we put in here. So these are the dates from last week. We need to update that for this week, okay? So we're going to put 8/10, and then we need to update that for 8/14. And now we should have had a new average. Let me see to figure out why this didn't do it. Let me figure out why it did not do it. So if I drop this down, I8, I see why. Average 7, 8, 7. It's starting at 7, guys. I need to lock this. That needs to be 2. That needs to be 2. Yeah, it's starting at the wrong spot. So let me put this 2. So that's A2. Where's the other one? The one that says C7 needs to be C2. C2. So we have that locked to I8. And then you got another one where it says A7. That's supposed to be A2. So let's fix that. A2, I8, and I8. I8. No, that's for over there. We're good for over there. Now let's see if this fixed it. There we go, guys. So the average, let me close this back out. The average for this week is 63.6. So of course it's in the greed range, but this is what I wanted to share with you guys. We swung from fear neutral to greed. And since we've been tracking it, we're seeing it's just getting greedier and greedier and greedier. This is pulled back a little bit, but it had a higher high at 66. So if we tracking it, looking at our notes, we went from 32, 39, 42. You see how it's consistently going up. And then we reached 64 for 2 days in a row. We had that for Friday and Monday. Then it dropped down to 61, but then it went 61, 62, 66, and then pulled back 1 point on Friday at 65. So it finished 1 point higher compared to last Friday. Like if we're just comparing Fridays, it finished 1 point higher. But looking at the average overall, this week was higher than the previous week. So we got 63.6 as far as greed. Let me put the dates back. So if we put it back to where it was, Monday of last week was 8.3. So 8.3 and it was 8.7. We can compare it, see how it's lower. So before it was 57.6 and now it's 63.6 on average. So the greed is increasing, guys. So that's the mood of the market right now. The market is greedy. It's greedy. All right, so we took care of that. Now let's go back here. Let's talk about this. Now we're going to look at the market volatility. So next, let's look at expected annual percentage range and uncertainty in the market using the VIX index brought to us by CBOE. So now for this one, guys, we can actually pull up. Look at these bugs. Boy, I told you. We can actually pull up the Thinkorswim charts. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go here, take that down, pull up the charts. Charts. Right here in the symbol box, we're going to type in the VIX, VIX, bam. And I have this for that now. So I told you I'm starting to get it together. We're starting to get a nice little flow. So for the VIX, guys, take me off the screen. We have a 1 year daily chart pulled up. Now keep in mind, these are not dollar amounts. These are percentages, okay? So this is 13. So they have a 52-week low of 13.38%. They have a 52-week high of 35.3%. And they closed this week at 14.25%. So that's what we have for the VIX, for the volatility index. So basically, guys, the volatility, the market is starting to calm down. There's less uncertainty in the market. It's starting to calm down and it's getting low. It's getting low. It's actually approaching the 52-week low. If I take me off the screen, you can see it. You see right here, we've been on a nice little downtrend on the VIX and it's coming close to this 52-week low. The market is becoming very calm. So the market is greedy and calm, like it's less uncertainty. People are feeling confident about what's going on and they being greedy about it. So we got greed going up and we got uncertainty. We have uncertainty coming down. So people are starting to cool off, chill out. They're not worried as much as they were before. All right. So that's what we have there. And as far as the volatility, we're not seeing wide swings. We're not seeing wide swings like that to the up or the downside. We're not seeing that. The volatility is starting. And here's what I mean by that. Like we pull up our notes. Let me pull our notes up. Here we go. So what do you mean? This is what I mean. If we look back, where's our notes? Here we go. You see like right here. So this was last week. So last week's biggest gainer had a percentage change in 1 day of 39.78%. That was the biggest percentage change in a day I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. This was the week. This was the day. My apologies. The biggest percentage change in a day last week, not the one that just passed, the week before, the biggest percentage change to the upside was 29%. This week, it was 19%. So that's less volatile. That's less volatile. Last week, also the week before that, we just looked at the dates. Let me give you the dates. The dates works better. So the date range I'm talking about, guys, is between August 3rd and August 7th. That's the week that I'm talking about with the volatility change. So when we go back, now that we're taking these notes, we can go back and look at this stuff. So this is the companies I'm looking at right now. But the date range was what I just told you. So I'm going to highlight this so you can see it. So this is from August 3rd to August 7th. When we're looking at the change in price, like how much did the price swing within that time frame we're looking at? The biggest gainer during that time frame in a day, the biggest gainer in a day, it was almost 30%. This week, it was only 20%. So it dropped by 10%. That's less volatility. If we look at the biggest percentage change as a loss in a single day for the week that just passed, this recent, compared to August 3rd to August 7th, it was bigger. It was slightly bigger. But overall, it was more volatility back during that time frame than compared to now. This week, it was only 16.49% to the downside. 2 weeks ago, it was 23.16 to the downside. It was way more volatility. And we can see that based off of why we're looking at the VIX. So it's not just certainty and uncertainty, it's the volatility. So the range, the trading ranges are starting to become tighter or reduced. So that's less volatility. That's what I'm trying to explain. So we got that. So we looked at our notes, we covered that, we looked at the VIX. Now we can talk about the community support, guys. So we can go there. Let's do that. So let's go here, go there, we'll take the VIX down, go to like. All right, community support. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description as well as on the ticker on the screen. All right. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the sector performance tracker. This is one of my favorite things. What time to follow the money? Let's look at how each sector inside the S&P 500 index is performing by using the State Street Global Advisors ETFs. All right. So let's go back to the charts. Bam, bam, bam. Got the right disclaimer up. Absolutely. So let's go over here and let's change our grid to the sector performance. Sector performance right now is set to a day percentage change, but we need it for the week. So 5 day would give us the week percentage change, guys. So yeah, let's get this knocked out. We're going to do the watch list for the more time frames next. So let's take care of this sector performance. Now we got the right ticker up. Let's go. All right. So the biggest percentage change, not biggest percent, the percentage changes for the sectors in the SPY for this week. The SPY finished the week up 0.4%. Energy finished the week up 7.7%. Materials finished the week down 0.6%. Industrials up 0.7%. Consumer discretionary down 1.4%. Consumer staples up 1.1%. Healthcare up 1%, financials up 1%, information technology up 1.1%, communication services up 1.5%, utilities up 1.6%, and real estate finished the week up 0.6%. So that's what we got for the week percentage change for the sectors. Now let's go here and talk about this S&P 500 sector watch list. Now we're going to look at the percentage change for 3 more time frames. We just looked at 1 week. So now we're going to incorporate 3 more time frames, 1 month, the 3 month, and the 6 month to get a broader view of each sector's performance in the S&P 500. So let's go back to the charts and let's start doing that, guys. Let's start doing that. So we can change this back to pro market closed. We go back up to our market watch tab. And we're going to change this to my watch list for the State Street Global Advisors ETFs. It's right down here. So let's get that. And now we need to change this to more time frames. Okay, so we need to change this column set to money tracker. So everything we had talked about, now we have 2 decimal places there. Put me back on the screen. So here we go. And we'll just take this down and put this here. Okay, sector performance, that's what we're looking at. So we just talked about the 1 week. So I have this in descending order, and now you can see the 2 decimal places. Remember, energy finished the week up 7.67%. Well, it was rounded off, so it says 7.7, but it was 7.67 because now you have the 2 decimal places, so you can see that. So here's the 1 week percentage change for the sectors. And now we can look at the biggest percentage change in a month, 3 months, 6 months, et cetera, et cetera. So let's do that. So for the month, the biggest gainer is also energy, guys. So they had the biggest percentage gain this month. The most recent 21 days, I believe, is what I have for the month, right? 5 days is a week, 21 days is a month. So they're up 8.58% on the month. The biggest loser, we can flip this, just do it this way, as far as sectors, is utilities. So they're down 2.55% on the month. Now let's go over to 3 months. So in 3 months, our biggest gainer is healthcare. Healthcare is up 14.14% in a 3-month time frame. Our biggest loser in the 3-month time frame is communication services, XLC, and they're down 3.55% in a 3-month time frame. Now we can go to 6 month. Guys, information technology is up 36.49% in the most recent 6 months. The biggest loser is XLP. So that's consumer staples. Okay. And they're down 3.5% on the 6-month time frame. All right. So we did that. We looked at the sectors. We looked at that. We looked at that. So now we can go ahead and move on. So let's talk about this, guys. Take this down. Go there. Do this. All right, strategies and goals. Now that we've looked at what's going on in the market, the sectors, the industries, the sub-industries, all of this means nothing. And I do mean nothing if someone doesn't have a strategy and knows what their goals are. For example, if someone wants to buy and hold long-term, what they see as an opportunity in the market is going to be totally different from what someone who is swing trading and looking to profit from declines in the market, like if they're bearish and they're looking at companies versus somebody looking at sectors. It depends on your strategy. So we're not covering strategies and goals. I'm just sharing how to do the work to look for opportunities that aligns with a strategy and goal. Okay. So ETFs and companies. Let me take a sip real quick. Oh, this fly just want to be a superstar, don't it? It's fly. Oh, whatever that bug is, I don't even think that's a fly. But anyway, ETFs and companies. Based off our research we did looking at the biggest gainers and losers from our market recap live streams, the biggest percentage change in a day were Super Micro Computer, and I'll pull that up while I'm saying it, Super Micro Computer, ticker SMCI, in the information technology sector up 29.45% on Wednesday, and Tapestry Incorporated, ticker TPR, in the industrials sector down 16.49% on Thursday. Wait a minute. I said Tapestry was in the industrial sector. Let's double check that. Tapestry, TAPR. Nah, it's saying consumer discretionary. So I'm glad I checked that. Yeah, so Tapestry Incorporated, ticker TPR, in the consumer discretionary sector, okay, down 16.49% on Thursday. The companies that had the biggest percentage change this week in the S&P 500 are Sandisk Corporation, ticker SNDK, in the information technology sector, up 35.38% this week. And I'm gonna double check that while I'm saying that. So let's change this to personal G&L SNDK. Yep. 35 point. Yep. We got that right. And Tapestry, ticker TPR, in the consumer discretionary sector, down 20.56% on the week. So that one, there's the ticker for that one. Moved a little slow. And the sectors with the biggest percentage change for this week are energy, up 7.67%. So let's pull that back up. We can pull that back up. Go back to that watch list. Personal, State Street ETFs. There we go. Biggest percentage change in a week right here. So we have energy right there at the top. So energy finished the week up. Take this down. Finished the week up 7.67%. And consumer discretionary finished the week down 1.38% on the week. So that's right down here, guys. And the State Street ticker for that is XLY. All right, so that's what we got. Now we can go here. We doing good tonight. We doing good. Finally, upcoming earnings, guys. Let's go over to the Thinkorswim calendar. Let's go over there to check for the companies that have earnings coming up this week. These companies should be experiencing high implied volatility because they are expecting moves due to their earnings events. All right, so let's see what big names we can find or what companies have earnings coming up in the S&P 500. All right, so let's pull the chart back up. And guys, I started noticing this last week. The earnings season is starting to slow down, especially with the companies in the S&P 500 index. I don't know if it's all of them, but I know as far as like the S&P 500, the earnings season is definitely slowing down, okay? So let's go up here to the Market Watch tab. Then we're going to the Calendar sub tab. And right here, we're going to click Settings or this cog or whatever. And we're going to change this watch list to the S&P 500 watch list. So right here, public, R through W, S&P 500. So there we go, guys. Put me back on the screen. So the week that's coming up. So today is the 23rd. So there's no earnings scheduled for the 24th. We do have earnings scheduled for Tuesday. And that is Intuit. Intuit Incorporated have earnings scheduled for Tuesday. So what we're going to do, we're going to add this to a watch list. And guys, I don't even remember what we call the watch list, but we're going to figure that out. So let's go over to the quotes tab and let's look at our list. If I go to personal, take me off the screen. Weekly earnings, I believe that's what we call it, guys. So if I pull that up, yes, it's empty. So that's the one we're using. We're going to do weekly earnings. So let's go back to the calendar. We're going to add Intuit to our watch list. So what I do, I right click on it and click add Intuit to watch list. Weekly earnings. There we go. So now when we go back to the quotes tab, we can see that we added it. So that's what we're doing. Now let's go back to the calendar and let's see what earnings are coming up on Wednesday for this week. And they also tell us when they're being announced, like is it before or after market. So I believe this is Smuckers, but let's just go through this together since the list isn't that long. Yes, so we have Smuckers announcing earnings before market on Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and add them to the weekly earnings, what's this one? Williams Sonoma Incorporated. And you know, guys, these aren't suggestions. You can pick whatever you want. We're just looking through them together. So I don't even want to try to butcher this one, guys. Ticker A, though. They got to be old. Like Ford is F. They got ticker A. How old is that company? Salesforce. So I'm going to add Salesforce to our watch list. So weekly earnings, we got CrowdStrike. Add that to the watch list, weekly earnings, just in case you wanted to read it. There it is, CrowdStrike Holdings Incorporated. HPQ. So HP Incorporated, I'm going to add that to the watch list as well. So add to watch list, weekly earnings. NVIDIA, we got a big one, guys. We got NVIDIA on Wednesday. Definitely going on the watch list. Synopsys Incorporated. I wonder if they're in the information technology set. I'm just going to add them. Well, there is a way to check to see if they're in the SP5. Go to analyze. What was the ticker? SNSP. No, I just messed that up. Let's go back to the calendar. What was it? SNPS. We can do this a different way. See where it says send to? So if we send that to red, now I don't have to remember it. Now when we go over to analyze, it should be here. So that's another thing you can do. So they are in the information technology sector. And I do believe I added them to the watch list. I did not. So let's go back over to the calendar, and they're going to be announced after market. We added them to the watch list, and now let's see what we got going on for Thursday, guys. Thursday, I see Dollar General, Best Buy, Dollar Tree, Beauty, Ulta, and Workday. I was about to say weekday. It's Workday. So so you guys can see it. So that's Best Buy. I'm going to add them to the watch list. So add to watch list. Then we have Dollar General. So you can see that. We can add them to the watch list. And then we got Dollar Tree. That's crazy how they they similar companies and they both releasing earnings on the same day. So we got weekly earnings. I don't know what this one is. Hormel. So this is dealing with consumer staples, if I'm not mistaken. Let me verify that. So we're going to send that to red and go over to analyze consumer staples. Yes, because it's dealing with food. Consumer staples. So let's go back to Market Watch. We're already on the calendar. ADSK is Autodesk. That might be software or something like that. So that might be in information technology as well. We can check that. So go send that to red. Let's see. Analyze. Yep. Information technology, Market Watch, Marvel. I believe that's information technology as well. It's in their name, Marvel Technology. So Ulta. Yep. Ulta Beauty. And then we got Workday. Workday is information technology as well. I think it's like an app. It's like an application or software. So we're going to add them to the watch list as well. And guys, that's it. That's what we got. I don't think we put Hormel. We skipped over a couple and then Beauty, Ulta, but it depends. It's subjective to whatever somebody wants. So we go back to the quotes tab, and these are the companies that we have in our watch list. Let's put them in alphabetical order. So we got Best Buy, and they're going to be different days. Okay. Of course, there are different days that they're going to have earnings. So there's another way we can do this. So here's where we have it under the quotes tab. What we can also do, we can just go back to the calendar and we can simplify the calendar. So when we go back to the calendar, what we can do right up here, we're going to just select that new watch list we just made. Go down to weekly earnings and bam. Now we have the companies listed that we wanted to focus on. That's that, guys. That is that. We just did it. All right, guys, that about wraps that part up. But let me show you what companies we're going to be covering this week. This week that we got coming up. Let's talk about the earnings. Guys, wait a minute. I just did something crazy. All right, so y'all gonna have to forgive me for this one. This is what we just did. We skipped a whole week. we skipped a whole week. How you liking that? How you loving that? We were supposed to do the 17th to the 21st, guys. I done made my list for next week. So let me tell you why I'm losing my mind and why I look like I'm going crazy. I'm gonna pull a big camera up for this one. I already went through the 17th to the 21st. So I showed you how to do it. You don't have to have the same watch list that I have, but I already looked at the 17th to the 21st because I had to schedule what live streams I have planning for this week. So I was thinking ahead. That's what ended up happening. But anyway, neither here nor there. Those aren't the companies that have earnings coming up this actual week. That's the following week. But I'm gonna show you what companies I'm gonna be covering. But before we do that, I am gonna actually pull up the companies that do have earnings coming so you can see them. Because it's Lowe's, it's Home Depot, it's not these companies. So let's go back to the charts and let's get back on the right time frame. So we changed this back to the S&P 500. There we go. And we're focusing on the 17th through the 21st, guys. So we got Home Depot. And I'm not going to do the watch list again. I'm just going to read them to you. So we got Home Depot on Tuesday. We don't have any earnings for any S&P 500 companies on the 17th. So we have Home Depot on Tuesday. We have Jack Henry and Associates Incorporated. on Tuesday, and we have Keysight Technologies Incorporated on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have Analog Devices Incorporated. We have SD Lauder Companies. We have Lowe's. So remember how I was talking about you got similar companies. So Home Depot is announcing theirs on Tuesday, and then Lowe's is announcing theirs on Wednesday. Then you have Target on Wednesday. You have TJX Companies. I think that's TJ Maxx, guys, if I'm not mistaken, but TJX Companies and Nordson Corporation on Wednesday. Now, John Deere, which is Deere and Company, is on Thursday. Walmart is on Thursday. And Ross. Yeah, Ross Stores Incorporated is on Thursday. So those are the earnings that's actually coming up. We went a whole week out. But anyway, that's that. Now let me show you what companies I'm going to be covering this week. Our live stream scheduled for next week. Well, not next week, but this upcoming week. You see how I keep saying this stuff crazy? I'm telling you, it's been a roller coaster of a weekend, but we gonna get through it. So here we go, guys. Here we go. I'm pulling up. Oh man, the camera overheated. Give me a second. I'm about to pull up the backup camera so you can see me. Give me a second. Camera backup. Is it that one? Yeah, we good. So I didn't cut the fan on. I didn't cut the fan on the camera, so the camera overheated. But we here. We here. We is here. And I need to show you what shows we got lined up for this week. So here we go. Let's blow this up. We would have been finishing the show up and the camera would have cut off in the middle of it. So I'm glad that we didn't do that. But here we go. Let me pull this up so you can see it. And now I need to use the cam overlay for this. Nope, not that one. This one. Here we go. And I need to move it. There we go, guys. And something on there. I've been laughing and spitting. Give me a second. Got something on my lens. I hope that did not make it worse. Oh, gosh. I'll clean it later. Did that make it worse, guys? Nah, I think I'm all right. Okay. So we are covering Analog Devices on Monday, and that's going to be pre-earnings because I believe they're going to actually announce their earnings on Wednesday, and we can confirm that before I let you go as well. So ADI, yes, they're announcing it on the 19th, guys. They're actually announcing it on the 19th, but we're going to do pre-earnings on them because we don't have any earnings scheduled for Monday. Clear as day. We can see that. So let's go back and go through our list. So we're doing Advanced Analog Devices on Monday. We're doing Home Depot on Tuesday. We're doing Target on Wednesday. We're doing Walmart on Thursday. And we're doing John Deere, which is going to be post earnings because I believe they're doing their earnings on Wednesday as well. And we can confirm that. So we go back here. Yes, they're doing their earnings on I hope I said Thursday. They're doing their earnings on Thursday, the same day as Walmart. So we're going to do post earnings and go over theirs on the 21st because there's no earnings in the S&P 500 scheduled for the 21st. Okay. And then we have our weekly recap live coming up next Sunday. So that's what we have going on this upcoming week, guys. All right. So I know the camera ain't going to be cool. So this is going to be interesting, being it so I read the closing of the show from the prompter. And I do not think it's going to be cool enough to be able to do what we need to do. So we just going to do what we can. We just going to make it happen. So we go here, bring this over, bring that over. There we go. And we can go ahead and get ready to end the show. We just got to keep rolling and going. Just gotta keep on keeping on, guys. Let me roll over, scoot over a little bit. At least I got some more shirts. I had them on heavy rotation, guys. I said, hey, man, I need some more shirts. We got it. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. You already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'll be here same place the same time next week. And make sure you keep tuning in weekdays following market trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and God bless.